Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're putting on our tinfoil hats as we dive into our picks for times fans filled in the blanks about questions Game Freak refuses to answer. Missing father found? One of the longest and most prevailing theories in the Pokemon franchise is the absence of Red's father in the original Red and Blue. This theory posits that while Red's father might not be present at home, he still manages to witness Red's Pokemon journey from amateur to champion. In every gym the player visits, just before challenging the gym leader, there's an old man offering words of encouragement and cheering the player forward. Many believe this is actually Red's absentee father, managing to accompany Red during his climb to the top of the Pokemon League. While this does raise the question of why Red doesn't recognize his own father or why his father never comes home, it's still a heartwarming theory to an age-old mystery. Alien Pokemon. While many Pokemon are undeniably foreign and oftentimes alien looking, some believe there are at least a few Pokemon not of this world. Although some Pokemon like Deoxys is officially confirmed to be an alien Pokemon, there are those who believe more common Pokemon such as Clefairy and Clefables might also be of an extraterrestrial origin. Players point to these Pokemon's association with Mount Moon, and that these Pokemon can only evolve with the use of the Moonstone. And they might not be the only ones, as the Nidorans as well as Jigglypuff require the Moonstone to evolve as well. Pokédeath. Although not explicitly stated within the Pokemon franchise, Pokemon can and do die, but that's not the end of their journey. Many believe that when some Pokemon perish, they become some of the many ghost types, such as the idea that when Clefable passes, they become the ghost Pokemon Gengar. This isn't the end of the dark theory either, as humans can suffer a similar fate. The ghost Pokemon Phantump is believed to be the spirit of children who become lost in the woods, and upon death, their spirits possess tree stumps as they continue to wander the woods, still searching for a way out. Somehow just as horrific is Yamask, a Pokemon that wanders ruins carrying a mask that is believed to be its own face and expression upon death. We're only focusing on these specific entries, but there are many other such Pokemon who have allegedly suffered similar fates.
Kids, could you lighten up a little?
Paradox Pokemon. This one's gonna get a little wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey, so just bear with us. While the timeline of events in Pokemon lore has been mostly consistent throughout the series, the reveal of the Paradox Pokemon seems to contradict everything the most recent titles Scarlet and Violet have told us about the Pokemon world. This is mostly due to the fact that these Pokemon can't exist within the same established timeline. Reddit user DropC2095 believes that in fact there was no time machine, and that these Paradox Pokemon are in fact born from human imagination using the power of Terrapagos. While this would explain a lot of the inconsistencies within the established timeline, their true origins remain to be seen. The Three Dogs Theory. First introduced in Pokemon Gold and Silver, the player learns of the tragic destruction of the Brass Tower in Ecruteak City and the loss of 3 Pokemon that sadly died in the fire over 150 years before the games take place. It's believed that Ho-Oh in its grief created the 3 legendary Pokemon Raikou, Entei, and Suicune to symbolize their loss. But which 3 Pokemon tragically perished in the fire? Many believe the original Pokemon that perished were the original evolutions Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon. There seems to be a remarkable amount of evidence to back up this theory as well, such as the 3 legendaries sharing similar types and stats, as well as their hidden abilities being near carbon copies of the original evolutions. AZ Abandoned Pokemon. The Pokemon franchise is one of the longest running series in all of gaming, and likewise has grown with its audience. However, what initially began as only 151 Pokemon has ballooned to over 1,000 with new types, strengths, weaknesses, and possible breeding combinations. So it wouldn't be hard for many early fans to have fallen off with the series. However, according to Redditor Irish33, in Pokemon X and Y, Game Freak seems to acknowledge these fans with the character of AZ. AZ is one of the few older characters the player interacts with, and theoretically would be the same age as those who grew up with Red and Blue. This could also be the reason behind AZ's attachment to older Pokemon the series had left behind over the years. His nostalgic views of Pokemon and the original journeys players took with them also resonates with many of the older fans of the series. Post-apocalyptic Pokemon. Without a doubt, one of the most popular fan theories in all of Pokemon lore is the Great Pokemon War that took place before the events of Red and Blue. There is actually quite a lot of evidence to support this theory, such as the lack of military-aged men within the world, as well as Lieutenant Surge's comments about an electric type saving him during the war. While it's unknown how long ago this war took place, it has been long enough for the world to rebuild itself, as well as what fans believe is a tower built using the cremated remains of all the Pokemon who died during this conflict, which players can discover at Mount Pyre with its many rooms littered with numerous headstones. Ditto Origins. As one of the only Pokemon capable of shapeshifting through the move Transform, Ditto is kind of an anomaly in the Pokemon universe. However, many believe there may be an ulterior motive behind Ditto's abilities. The most prevailing theory is that Ditto is a failed clone experiment to recreate the legendary Pokemon Mew, who also happens to be the only other Pokemon capable of Transform. What lends further credence to this theory is that both Ditto and Mew's shiny forms are exactly the same light blue color. Another popular fan theory is that Ditto was created for the sole purpose of breeding endangered Pokemon to help their species from becoming extinct. Arceus constructed. Within Pokemon lore, there are none more powerful than Arceus. Believed to have created the Pokemon universe, there are many who revere Arceus as a god. But what if that was only half the truth? Reddit user Bouncing Cloud believes that Arceus was actually designed and created by another dying universe and sent out into the cosmos to build a new world so their species would live on. Many point to the mix of organic and mechanical material, and the fact that even as a god, players are able to capture him just like any other Pokemon. If Arceus was truly created from the remnants of Pokemon from another universe, then Arceus would also in theory be a Pokemon as well. Pokeball Tech. Ever wondered just how capturing Pokemon in those tiny balls really works? The tech behind these little multicolored balls has long been the topic of discussion, as well as just what it's like within the balls themselves. Reddit user Nameless88 believes they might have discovered exactly how these magical balls work. Essentially, it breaks down to the use of quantum mechanics and the Pokeball converting the Pokemon into light, like data being saved on a computer. Another popular theory is the teleportation theory. This theory states that every time you capture a Pokemon, you're breaking it down and rebuilding it from the saved data within the Pokeball. So in essence, every time a Pokemon is caught and released from its Pokeball, it's not the same Pokemon, but actually a clone, and the old version dies each time the player calls out the Pokemon. No wonder Pikachu never wanted to get into the ball. What's your favorite Pokemon theory? Have any of your own? Let us know down in the comments. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.